Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Free Flowing Thoughts. Tonight we have another special and new international guest speaker who goes by the name of Leon Bassene. He is a public and international motivational speaker. And tonight the topic of the hour is going to be on emotions. Does emotions have a gender? How do we balance our emotions, otherwise known as equilibrium? And so much more. So let's get him right on. God, it's Wednesday and it feels like a Friday. Hi, everyone. So we're just going to take a moment to have a few people come on the live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Big up yourself, Anne-Marie, family, enough love. Thank you for your continuous support. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just waiting for guest speaker Leon to pull up on the live. So today we're discussing the dynamics of our emotions within ourselves and how do we actively balance our emotions. And did you know that there's supposedly a difference between emotions and feelings? And again, does emotions have a gender? So let's wait for Lee to arrive. Lee, where are you? Should I go find him? Let's see. Let's shoot him a message to let him know I'm ready for him. Although he knows I'm ready. Where you at? Where you at? You at? Here we go. So people, how are you doing this evening? How do you balance your own emotions? And in your opinion, does emotions have a gender? What are the things that trigger your emotions for better or worse? What evokes your tears and what makes you happy? And are you dependent on those very things to continuously keep your personal bubble pot stirring? It's so interesting, I think, as we continuously relearn ourselves. Oh, Leon's about to pull up on a live. And you know, before we come on, I'm going to give a warning. He is a hat lover, so I can't wait to see what he's pulled up with tonight. Oh, sitting on a cushion. Mr. Bassene, where are you? Welcome, everyone. I see a few new viewers today. So for those who don't already know, my name is Silva. Welcome to Free Flame Thoughts. He's about to pull up on the live. 3, 2, 1. Lee, what's poppin'? We twinning this.
What's happening?
Hey, from one hat lover to another. What's good?
Oh, you're good right now.
How you feel about my gents hat? Because guys, we already know we love hats. We have that great thing in common. So, Lee, are you buffering on me already? Lee, come back. Lee, hello? Come back. There you go. We had a little bit of buffering there for a second. So okay. Yeah, before I get into it, I'm just going to say, guys, we are clearly both hat lovers, and our hats are so big it can't fit an entire screen together. So my hat's going to have to be cut off. That's how big our brims are. But okay, we can talk about hats later. But your hat, that's my hat right there. I love it.
Yours is mine. We need to switch actually right now. You know
well, you know, this is a typical gents hat. This is a Theodore, bigger brim, so I recognize yours. I love it. I'm come steal it. All the way in New York, so maybe next time.
That's
So,
really good.
welcome, Leon. Welcome, Leon.
Thank
For guys who don't already know, this is a Mr. Leon Bassene. He is a public and motivational speaker. Welcome, Lee.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Thank you for being here. Sorry, my cameras are suddenly tilted. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So, Lee, let's shake off the day. Let's both shake off the day. It's been like a roller coaster. Let's get into it. Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh, okay. I've got some tea. I'm going to start on that later. I'm glad you got a tea.
Okay.
Welcome, you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Lee, let me start
Yeah.
with how's your day. Let's start with how has your day been. I'm going to get into everything else. We're going to have a slow climax to the end. How about that?
Yeah, that's what it is. I've had a
Good.
pretty awesome day. Regular workout, 5 in the morning, as usual. Read about a half hour and got into the regular, stuff for the day, going out and just dealing with
Excellent.
that. And it's been a productive day, pretty much. And now I'm here interviewing with you. That's actually dope. That's even better. It's a good
Thank
way to end.
you.
It's a good day. It's a good way to end the day. You know what I mean? So
That's it.
that's
Well,
good.
I am your co-pilot, and on this flight, everything runs smoothly. How about that?
Nice. Let's go, co-pilot.
Okay. Who is Leon Bassene? Let's start there.
Leon. Okay, it's a loaded question, but I'm gonna try to
That's
answer.
okay. We got time. Mhm.
All right. So Leon Bassine, I am a Senegalese singer-songwriter based in New York, and recently turning into, following my whole passion about, public speaking and all that. So on a personal level, I'm a passionately curious, adventurous, romantic, selfish.
Ooh.
Yeah, what would I say?
Ooh.
Yeah, so romantic in a way, when you say romantic, people always, kind of think about this whole the lady side, it's part of it, but I'm talking about being romantic in a way that romantic people are mostly like interested in the more philosophical things, I mean, aspects of things than the actual rational thing. You know what I mean? Like we find beauty in the ugly and the chaos and all that. You know what I mean? So
That's
the other
me.
part, I like that, like that. So the other part where I say I'm selfish is like, I try to live life in regards to what really is important to me, not, trying to do what everybody else is wanting me to do. I just try to live life from inside out. So you got to be something in a way to be able to do something like that. Because, we always around, background noise and people trying to get us to, to do things that they want to see us do instead of what we truly are, in person. Adventurous. That's like, I'm pretty much all over the place, man. I'm very spontaneous. Like I like to discover new things and just put myself in challenges that just help me like go to the next level. I could go from really quiet to like extreme, super hype and like back to the middle and
Sounds like
all
you're describing me. What's up with that?
that.
I'm like, hmm.
Same hats over here.
Okay, okay.
The
I'm
tats,
glad.
by the way.
Say that again.
Tats, by the way. The
See,
tattoos.
my tats, I have a lot. But really, I'm a good girl, really. But
Mm,
anywho,
mm.
of
I can
course, I have a lot. I have a lot. See, I hide them a lot, but hey, you see them tonight. Thank you.
tell.
But yeah, it's interesting. When I asked you who you were, I'm glad you went from what you did very quickly to who you are. And guys, I share this with you before I continue on. when you ask yourself who you are, or someone asks you who you are, be mindful not to have the bells and whistles, because everything I do is not me. Attachment. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. Yeah. I am a professional autistic support worker. I'm all these things. I'm a creative writer. I'm a host. But is that who I am, or is that what I do? So people would say, I'm a wife, I'm a this, I'm a doctor, but that's not who you are, because if I removed it, who would you be?
That's it. You strive to be more than just meets the eye. You know what I
Right.
mean?
But
Like,
went from singer-songwriter to who you are inside. Because without all of the jobs and bells and whistles, there would still be a predominant character that thrives on your heartbeat and sets your soul afire, right? So I'm
totally.
glad you shared some of that. So what part of the world are you located in currently?
I am in New York, you know. New York. New York, man.
New York. Okay. Well, I keep having New Yorkers on here, so clearly I'm due to come up at least 4 days to come and see all you guys at some point in the near future. How about that?
My God, you gotta come. I'm sure when you
Oh, I'm
get here.
coming. I have all these wonderful people, and you guys, obviously, when you come to London, let me know what's good. So you were born in New York. You are from Senegal, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm from Senegal. I was born and raised in Senegal, and I moved out here. You know, Senegal is my native country. I love that. I love that country, man. It's amazing. So I've been blessed to live in New York for a while, and this city really taught me so much, you know. So yeah,
So
pretty
tell me
pretty
what's so great about Senegal. You said it's amazing. Tell me like at least three top things that's
Senegal
wonderful
is
about
a dope country. It's like a tropical, if you will. Like it's hot, and we take pride in really uh, being a country of hospitality.
it.
Like you know, we have this saying, "Le pays de la teranga," meaning the country of hospitality. Like we take pride
Oh,
in welcoming strangers and being making people feel at ease, feel at home, and all that. So it's that dope vibe. You know, you can literally walk into somebody's house that you don't even know, a stranger's house, and go have lunch
wow.
and just be all
Is it?
about you.
It's not very touristy though, right?
A little bit is somehow getting to that. Yeah,
Okay. He's born in Senegal, moved to New York, and so you've been in New York your entire life now, yeah? Basically.
exactly. I've been
Okay,
here.
okay. So what was you like as a child? Let's get into that.
As a child, so I grew up in like a big family.
Hmm.
My father was a busy man. He was a busy dude. He had my wife, I mean, my mother as his wife, but he had like two other women. So we're a
Was
family
that
of,
legally held in your culture?
yeah. I mean,
Mm.
it's part of the culture.
We're gonna talk about
Yeah.
the emotional jealousy real soon. Carry on.
I see where we're going with it right now.
This topic, we're going to get into, guys, I always do an introduction, by the way, with everyone that comes on here. And that's where we're at in this topic, in the process. So we're going to be talking about emotion shortly and explore that. But before I do, I like to unlayer my guest speakers, because that's what I'm about, soul connectivity. Yeah.
That's it.
So I'm going to give you a real soul climax. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you already know. You already
And that's
know.
what it's about. So your father had your mother and two other ladies. Lucky man.
Yeah, lucky man,
Mm.
right? So we're a family of 13, like a soccer team, if you will. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So growing up, I'm the Benjamin with my mother's side. So growing up, my mother used to travel a lot, and she used to be a little sickly lady. But
Mm-hmm.
even though my father was a doctor, she didn't want anything to do with like um, modern medicine. You know, she wanted to deal with, you know, the whole traditional stuff. So she would be like going away for times, for months of times, you know.
Mhm.
And I grew up, you know, without her around like an environment that was just like pretty dope. So my father, for him being a doctor, he was this dude that they used to bring in strangers from all over the place, strangers that we, you know, had nothing to do with him. So they come
Mhm.
in sick, and he would help them like get treated for free. So sometimes people stay at home for months at times. People that
So
we
was
don't
dad a
know
bush
at all.
doctor? Was he a professional doctor?
Yeah, doctor. Yeah.
Which one? He was a
So
doctor. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Was dad a bush doctor or was he like a Western doctor or a traditional doctor? You know
No,
what I
no,
mean?
not a traditional. It's a
Right.
modern doctor. Yeah,
All
sorry.
right.
But
Yeah.
my mother wanted to do the whole thing with the traditional, you know. So she always travels. Yeah.
Like. Mhm.
Yeah. So my father would have all these strangers coming into the house, and you know, taking care of them, and it was something dope that I grew up with, just loving seeing people that I had nothing to do with coming to becoming family. You know, it was something that I've always grown, you know, was around with, you know. So me being around strangers is just like being around family. I don't feel any type of, you know, way being around, you know,
You like
strangers.
me?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I grew up around that vibe where you just, you know, people that are still so welcoming, people coming together, you know, in let's say holidays, around the music, and just having a good time. So growing up around that energy, seeing people just gathering around music and just having a blast all the time. And my father out there just kind of helping people that he don't even know that end up becoming family, just kind of forged me in.
Is this in Senegal as well as New York? When you moved to New York, or this is back in Senegal?
This is all in Senegal.
Okay.
Yes, this is me as a little kid. So
Hmm.
just around that energy kind of, you know, got me into wanting to be in the music field, and also trying to, you know, be like somebody who could do something like my dad, just help people in general. You know what I mean? So pretty much just to sum up a little of my.
Okay, that sounds good. And remind us, what age did you move to New York?
Um, I would say 21, 21.
Oh, balance
Yeah.
age. Were you a happy child, would you say?
I'm sorry.
Were you a happy child? Was you a happy child? Sorry.
Yeah, I was a crazy happy child, and it was a bit of a mix, because my mother being away was just
Mhm.
something that really was tough for me, because I'm like I said, I'm a romantic dude, so we always trying to be around, you know, because my mother was really I was really close to my mother, so when she goes away at times, he just kind of like um, left a big, you know, dent on me. But I found ways to really cope with that by just kind of like living in my own surreal world with that I just created. That every time
I
I'm
heard
just
you said was, is your parents still with us?
my parents, that they're all gone. They're all gone. They're all
Oh,
resting.
okay, okay. Thank you for sharing that. Um, is there a Mrs. Leon Baston in your life? Let me ask on behalf of the ladies watching this. Ladies, I got your back, okay? Go ahead.
Now you get me in trouble.
Ladies, I have your back. I'm asking, and girls, inbox me. I'll let you know who he. I got so many UK and New York connections.
Yay.
Is there a Mrs. Leon Baston in your life?
Lee is just a free man, just chilling. You know what I mean? Just, you know,
Ladies,
just chilling.
tell a friend to tell a friend. Inbox me after the show. You never know what I can do. Anyway, moving on swiftly. All right. So, how would your family and friends describe you?
So my like it's kind of different. Some of them describe me as crazy. Some describe me as, you know, the laid back dude that is just like he's cool. Like with my friends, when they're going through, you know, tough times in their lives, they usually come up to me and just kind of like have me as their, you know, sounding board and stuff like that. And sometimes
But
I say,
how would they describe you is the question.
how would they describe me?
Hmm.
Adventurous. I would say definitely adventurous, crazy adventurous. Yeah, you know, it's
Okay.
like adventurous, spontaneous. That's what I would say. You know, because I would come
Okay,
up
so
with stuff and you're like, how, what? Okay, whatever. You know,
okay, so now that I've kind of unlaid you a little bit like an onion, just a little bit so far,
yeah.
shall we get into the topic entitled Topic of the Hour Emotions? But before I do, allow me to speak to viewers. Hi, viewers. Welcome to Free Flame Thoughts. For those who are new, my name is Silva and I am your host. And this is Leon Bassene. And today's topic is emotions. And it sounds quite basic, but we're so filled with them, and it can either be a great vehicle to us or a enemy to us, according to how we channel it, right, Lee?
That's true. That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
so there's so much to explore in regards to emotion. But before I do, allow me to say hi to everyone.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Oracle. I'm glad there's a little giggles going on, a little laughter. That's what I'm about. A little bit of, humor with soul connectivity. So hi, everyone. So, Lee,
Hmm.
emotions.
Such a vast,
It's
you
so
know,
important.
topic, right?
When you personally hear of even the thought of just, we know we all have emotions to different degrees.
Mhm.
But what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of that word and that term?
I think emotions are the I would describe it that the simplest way. Emotions are to uh, road maps, the GPS. You know, like
Mm,
you want to go somewhere and you have your GPS. You want to use your GPS, but you turn off the GPS location.
mm,
Everything you can get to where you're going to be. So that GPS location for me is emotion. They tell you where you stand in relations to where you're trying to go. You know what I mean?
mm,
So that's the most basic way for me to explain, you know, emotion. So in a way, we are so in tuned with certain emotions that we like we operate on like on a default basis.
mhm. Yeah.
We're so in tune with like the emotions that remind us of like sadness, of sorrow, and you know, stress and all that stuff. But we kind of overlook the other ones that are just out here, just as equal as the you know, not equal, but you know, on the other side of the spectrum. You know, you got happiness, joy, you know, excitement, and all that. They all on the other side of each other. You know what I mean? But we
They
always
are
lean on the one side. So
inside.
it's yeah. Go
Well,
ahead.
in terms of emotion, when I first spoke to you, and I asked what you wanted to talk about today, and you said it's something to do with emotions. What inspired you to be geared towards that topic? Let's get further into that before we explore deeper.
So I realized that in this world we live in today, it's just so much things that are happening. Like society is really pushing us in a way that we kind of like let's say for instance us men we're so how do I say this? Oops, sorry. Give me a second. Excuse me.
Tell her to call back later. Call back later. He mine right now, boo boo. Go on, go on.
So yeah, we're so conditioned to like men, we're not allowed to feel emotions. We in a way that we kind of suppress anything that comes to us because we just want to portray that macho kind of vibe, and we end up actually hurting ourselves more than we actually helping ourselves because we're human beings. So the thing that differentiates us from animals are emotions. You got to be able to let them through, feel them,
But
and
animals
actually.
have emotions.
Exactly, they do. But people are more inclined to thinking that animals don't have
Mhm.
emotions, but
Mhm.
that's actually false. You know what I mean? Um, but for me, the reason why I wanted us to talk about this is just like to kind of shed some light a little bit on stuff like that. That it is okay to be yourself. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? It is okay to be yourself. Like let's say 70 billion, I'm sorry, 7 billion people in the world, and each and every one of us has their own unique DNA to them and
Mm.
have their own unique story that belongs to them. So why do we want to look like everybody else if we are different? Our
Yeah, different.
differences are actually our differences are our strength. So we gotta operate on that level to be able to like connect on a deeper level. If we all the same, then life has no sense, no meaning. We
Well,
have to all, yeah.
let me jump right in there and say that you've actually touched on two things that I intend to talk to you about. Guys, if you're new to this channel, you know that I'm very unorthodox. If you're not new, should I say, you already know that I am very unorthodox with how I do my lives. I don't do typical question and have things rehearsed. On specific topics that are specialized like this, I will have bullet points that we can explore and expand. So let me throw this kind of things out there. Um, do you feel that emotions is a learnt behavior, or is it also engineered via our DNA?
Personally, I think it's a learned behavior. It is. I think we come in this world where preset positive emotions like joy. Kids are always like, in a happy state, even though, you have, kids crying, throwing a tantrum and all that. But the default setting for kids, they're all joyful. They're happy. They want to run. They want to discover. They're all driven by the sense of discovery, by the sense of like uh, adventure and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're consumed in the now rather than just thinking in the future or the past. But as you grow up, society is just constantly hammering on you to changing the way you're thinking. I think the minute you start losing the inner child within, that's when you really are in trouble. The only difference between grown-ups and little kids is because kids are more in tune with their emotions. They will tell you exactly how they feel. They don't have so much of a filter of the emotions they are experiencing in life. You know what I mean?
Until
Sometimes
they learn the behavior, until they
yeah,
learn the behavior.
until society tell them to do else, but
Mhm.
you're born in a way we, we don't fear. Fear is something that we are taught by society. Kids,
Or basically adopted sometimes by what you see. Like, let me jump in a little bit there. And the reason why I wanted to ask, and guys in the comments box, please feel free to interact. I will get back to your comments, and just vibe with us. Just feel free just to be a part of it all and say how you feel, express where you're coming from according to your opinions versus facts. A lot of things are down to perception also, right, Lee?
so
So I'm going to say the reason why I wanted to ask you whether you felt it was a learnt behavior. Today, for an example, I spoke to my colleague, my senior colleague, and I asked him the same question. He was like, yeah, I think it's learnt. And I was saying, you realize that when I was carrying my son 27 years ago, I was advised to stop eating ice cream as much as I was, and ice, because the baby is going to be affected. You see where I'm going with this? From the umbilical cord. When he was born, the little boy was bloody frozen. Okay? So when we start looking at where characteristics, I mean, they nicknamed him the ice baby for a while. Yeah? Okay? And in character, he hasn't changed much, Boo Boo. But
Like, yeah, it's good.
he has his humor, but Mum is, I'm a lot more friendly in terms of my character. So is that DNA? Is that, do you see what I mean? Like, we filter, if a mother has a baby that may come out slightly with conditions, deformities, or even repressive personalities, the mother will often be asked what you were going through whilst you were pregnant. There's a reason why doctors would ask that, or psychologists, because there is some kind of filter. It's like they ask mothers, were you angry, for an example, when you were carrying that child? Were you sad? What did you go through? I knew a guy I was very close to. In fact, I pretty much adopted him as my brother. And I was told that because his mother was beaten so much while she was pregnant, that is the reason why he came out schizophrenic. So
I mean,
I'm throwing different things out to really broaden where this could go, because, you know, I think a lot of our emotions are learned, but I think that sometimes it's adopted by within, whether it's the womb, whether it's picking up on frequencies within the womb.
exactly. You know, whatever you know, like you guys carry, you know, we can't thank you enough for that. You know, being able to carry babies for 9 months and all that stuff, you know, it's tough. But, you know, if you think about the stuff that you go through, you know, not only for the pregnancy, but, you know, the actual life you go through, stress, it affects, you know, the baby in a way. It does, because you carrying that little creature inside. And when stress affects you, it affects your whole body, including the, you know, whoever you carry inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. And kids, they're like little sponges, whether we want it or not. As a little kids, they're just like pretty much taking in information. That's how they learn how to really become, you know, part of their whole surroundings and understanding what's going on. So parents got to really watch how they act around the kids, because whether they believe it or not, they're picking on vibes. You know, whether parents having fights that they hiding from kids and just doing whatever, and they're hiding it. Kids can pick up on energy.
Oh, look, this is what I'm saying. And that goes back to the question for those who just joined us. We're talking about emotions. Exactly. And I've just gone into the question of asking Lee, really, whether this is Leon Bassene, guys, speaker, motivational speaker. And at the point where we're talking about emotions, is it a learnt behavior, or is it an adopted behavior? Is it, you know, whatever those emotions are? But let's push on to the next part of emotions. Let's talk about a common one. How can I not mention jealousy?
Jealousy. Wow.
Let me tell you why I asked you about, well, I'm going to talk about jealousy with you, and you can explore it with me.
Yeah.
I have often been asked, no, I've often heard people state, and there's so many posts that coincide with that jealousy is healthy within relationships. Let's talk about within relationships for a moment. Yeah. And a lot of people have said they find it healthy to have a little bit of jealousy. When I've explored why that is, it shows that he cares. It shows that she has some care. There's posts that would say, if the person isn't jealous, they don't care. And then you've got people that say they're not jealous at all, when many of us don't believe that. But is that because we have jealousy? Let me explain. I am not jealous of other women or other people's what they've achieved. I'm a supporter of what people achieve, and a fan of what people achieve. Now, in terms of jealousy, as a younger, not even so much younger to be honest, but a younger version of myself, I felt the same. that jealousy was a bit healthy. I think there's other terms for that, but I now wouldn't say that jealousy is necessarily healthy. Because if we honestly ask yourself right now, viewer, as you're watching this, when you experience, and if you've experienced any form of jealousy within a relationship, or even someone that you're dating, seeing, married to, lover, whatever it is, take yourself through the roller coaster of those emotions and how that makes you feel. From anger, sometimes resentment, maybe bitterness, maybe revenge, and what you've done, even if it has become vengeful. And now place somebody else, alternatively, in that same bracket, and that is what they're experiencing. I can't see anything positive with that emotion that hurts or antagonizes the soul so much. What's your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. I think jealousy is a natural feeling, for real. But like anything with excess is definitely bad. Jealousy for me, when the question when you ask it, you directed it a little bit on the couples and stuff.
Yeah, I'm
So
specifying here for a reason because we can escalate after,
yeah,
like, yeah, so in within relationships,
so,
jealousy. Because it's an emotion, right?
exactly. Um, we all have that. We all have that in us in a way. You know what I mean? Like if you're in a relationship and something goes on, and it depends. I'm trying to see how to go with
I'm
that.
gonna you go ahead.
Okay. I'm kind of jumping the guns over here. Okay, let me say this. Jealousy for me is like a feeling that projects weakness from the person
Mm.
who is actually, feeling that emotion. You know what I mean? Because if you're confident enough, you're not going to be worried about what you're jealous for or about because you're comfortable with yourself and around, whatever situation is going on, like it's a feeling, but being able to control it, it's is the thing, the bottom line for me. You know what I mean? Like being in a relationship, you could be with your girl, your man, and somebody happens to start talking to them or whatever, and things kind of go in a way that you're not expecting them to go. You might have some second thoughts for a minute, but you can come back from it. You know what I mean? Like letting that thought just kind of wander around and just stay on it and all that stuff is where it comes down to, like, you know, now they get
Well,
they
it's
get
a trigger, isn't it? Okay, let's have a scenario then.
Mhm.
You're with your lady you're at a bar, and another man is kind of, as we say, preeing her a little bit too much, a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now another man would feel like, oh, I love the fact that other men like what I love, and she's mine, all to myself. Yeah. But now on the flip side, if you know that that particular man is pretty much her ideal type in how he looks, let's be honest, sometimes people get together based on chemical reaction or circumstances. It's not always because the ideal looking person. Let's start with the physical. Yeah. So he may know or she may know that particular person is that's his flavor, or that's her flavor.
Mhm.
That instant feeling of, is that a healthy reaction? That he or she's felt that jealousy. Because it's a trigger, isn't it?
It's the trigger. That goes to show that you have interest. You love the person that you're jealous that somebody's coming in the picture. That shows that you care about them. That's where I'm trying to say. Like when you feel that first uh feeling of jealousy,
Mm-hmm.
it's healthy. That first reaction is healthy. But now letting it dominate you is a total different story. Like the first jolt is like knowing that, okay, this is what it is. But from what I know with women, you guys are more interested in The I like the look right now. You're now more in tune with the physical. You're more in tune with the the emotional connection and all the other stuff, right? So let's say if an alpha is hanging out with the girl and some other
Oh my
dudes come
God, wait. Say that word again.
alpha.
Let me tell you. Just pause real quick.
Okay.
That word is a word I can't leave alone. It gets me in so much trouble. Okay? Alpha and masculine. I think I've ruined relationships by overusing that. Like, if they're not enough, I can't just stick with it. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. I'm a self-confessed alpha female. It's not my fault, but carry on.
I could tell. I could tell you definitely alpha. Alpha is just being
How
confident.
could you tell? Tell me about that
Yes,
before we carry
because
on.
you're assertive. You don't have. I could tell you don't have like extra filters just to try to appear nice. It's you. You come on raw and just deliver. You authentic. You're not trying to just, you know what I mean? So and your energy actually tells it all. We don't notice, but before you even move your lips, your energy introduces you before anything. So
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a post I'm gonna share at some point this week as well. I'm an alpha female. It causes a lot of problems. That's a whole nother Jerry Springer show. We can come back and do a part 2 on that, okay?
right.
But I tend to need to have, preferably, which is not always the case, very
uh,
alpha or super masculine men. And when I don't, it causes a problem. But anyway,
the people are confused sometimes. When you say alpha, a lot of people, when you say alpha, they automatically thinking of a man who's like aggressive and all of that stuff.
But the thing is, that's the thing though. Aggression, you can see an athlete who's aggressive.
Yeah,
And so it's how we channeled it. Someone can be aggressive in the bedroom. I'm all right with that shit.
that's dope.
It depends on where you channel it. So I don't know why we're afraid of these terms. I don't mind a slightly aggressive man. As long as he's not controlling me, locking me in the house, or being physically aggressive in that terms. Again, I say only in the bedroom, okay? Yeah. And I'm all right with that. But
That's what it is.
the time and the place. So, there's a time and a place. So yeah,
Exactly.
I think that it does have bad stick in terms of, oh, you want someone who's going to control you. That's your rendition of alpha or masculine. There's a difference between a fisher and a hunter.
Exactly. Being assertive, and all that stuff, knowing what you want and going for it. You're not
Right.
looking for permission. I'd rather, beg for forgiveness than ask for permission. You know what I mean? So just
Right.
that kind of mindset, so.
See?
Yeah,
Okay. So what about when you think of like jealousy, and guys, in the comments box, I'm going to stop shortly and read what you guys have had to say. But can you think of, there's so many things we're going to talk about in regards to emotions tonight, but can you think of anything in regards to emotions that you would like to share, whether you feel like it's a positive or negative or just indifferent? Because as we said, some things are fact, some things are just perception and your own personal opinion, which doesn't make it always fact. So I also think of jealousy, I think in terms of childhood. So what are your thoughts, Lee, in terms of, I guess when the parents either neglectful or showing one child more attention than the other for whatever reason, and you have a child that may be jealous of the other child, maybe build resentment, maybe, do you know what I mean? Like, is that acceptable as a young child who doesn't know any different really, but has that type of jealousy? Taking it away from relationships now, because I've thought about these things, growing up and how I felt about one of my siblings, and it wasn't her fault that I wasn't actually jealous of her. That's the thing. It was more of the position that I was a story that I was fed that she was in, basically. I thought that, I have siblings that live across seas, and it was like, oh, they're the this and they're the that and they're the this. And I always thought like, wow, I could do with some of that. Not knowing there was a different backdrop of why they were really there. But as a child, no, you know how it is. I'm being real as we go around the subject. Sometimes
Totally.
no full versions as a child. You're just given a story at the time because you're young.
Exactly. You're wrong about that,
Right? I'm
totally.
true. So I had this little resentment in here as a young child, and I knew I knew what it was. I recognized it as young as I was.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't jealousy of them, it was more of the artificial make believe attention that they were getting. But that was probably because they didn't live with us. So, of course, they're going to be spoken about in a certain way.
Mm.
I mean, so I asked myself, even as a child, was that a wrong emotion to have? Even though I didn't act out on it as such, but I was very reserved and I wasn't friendly until I discovered why they were really there, and then everything changed.
Yeah, you were a child and you were just going with whatever was coming at you. I mean, at that time, I kind of shared the same experience with my younger sister. She was closer to my dad than I was,
Mm-hmm.
and it was kind of like uh, to me, it bugged me for a minute, but then I overcame it
Yeah,
for you know. I just kind of tune tune the frequency a little bit away from that.
yeah.
So it
But
didn't turn.
how did you manage that emotion? Like,
Mm.
let's look at the dynamics of how we handle emotions. How did you handle that emotion?
It was just knowing that it wasn't her fault. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
like I knew it wasn't her fault. It was just my dad kind of focusing more on her. So if I wanted stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that, I would sometimes go through her to get to get it from my dad.
Oh,
You know what I mean? But it turned to be something that I kind of accepted. I don't know how, but I just turned out to accept how it turned out to be. And it didn't happen to be something like of a pressure for me at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So I learned to live with it. You know what I mean? But growing up, I was able to actually sit with my dad and kind of, ask him a couple of questions about that, which was a
oh,
good
you
closing.
so you confronted that emotion.
Yeah. So, but I had
Wow.
to kind of close that door a little bit. I
Mhm.
can understand him. He was more in tune with the lady, than just the little boy running around and all that stuff. But I got feelings too. You know what I mean? So,
Mm,
but
absolutely, absolutely.
I kind of kept it a little bit until I got a little older to be able to have a conversation with him and all that. So, amen.
That's interesting. That's well, I'm going to allow you to sip on your wine for about 3 minutes while I look at the comments. Is that okay?
That's good.
And then maybe when we return, if you would like, you can then navigate anything that you want to talk about in regards to emotions. I've got so many bullet points I can bring to it, but I do want you to have space to also feel free to come up with your renditions of things of emotions that you want to discuss.
So,
Yeah. So let me actually act like I can see something now with these glasses. Mm-hmm.
nice. Look at that.
Hi everyone, welcome. Sandy, how you doing? Is envious different from being jealous? Okay, do you want to ask some questions and then we want to see if we can come up with that? And remember, unless you know for a fact, it's going to be opinion. But I also have Google with me, so I'm actually going to have a couple of voices coming out of this. Yeah. So, in your opinion, is envious different from being jealous, according to Sandy's question? What's your thoughts?
I think envious has a little less um how do I say soul to
Mhm.
it? You know what I mean? Being envious has a little less um what's the word? For lack of a better word. Like when you're jealous of somebody, you wish like
Ah, I see
it's
you going
always
with
like you don't want them to have what they have. You
it.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Be envious is like you wish you were. at that spot. It's
Mm.
like a lighter version of being, jealous. I would go rather with envious than being jealous. You know what I mean? Because
Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting.
envious, I'm envious of what's happening in your life. It's more inspiring for me, for instance, to try to do something to catch up to what you're up to, not in a competitive way, but in a friendly, competitive way, rather than aggressive or malicious competitive way for somebody who's jealous. If
Hmm.
you coming onto somebody because you don't want them to get whatever they're trying to get to, you know what I mean? But
Well,
somebody
let's ask Google, shall we?
let what?
Let's ask Google. Today, guys, I'm going to bring a third guest, which is Google. Let's see what Google has to say. Yeah.
All right.
What is the difference between envy and jealousy?
According to Merriam-Webster, envy means discontented longing for someone else's advantages. Jealousy means unpleasant suspicion or apprehension of rivalship.
See?
Sandy, I hope that's answered your question. Next one today. Hi, everyone. There's the next question. Hi, hi, hi. I know there was a state someone had written something, but now I can't find it. Where is it gone? It was quite a big. Hi, Chi. She says, I'm not into the jealousy thing, but I understand where it comes from at times. Okay. So, Chi, are you saying that you've never been jealous? You see, what you're saying is you're not into it, which is great, but do you feel it? Have you experienced it? Come on, I'd say you have. Come on. Right. These glasses are not working for me. Different. So let me just go on with a straight 20 vision right here. Here we go. Let's go large. Stop playing, Silver. Stop playing. You can't see shit. Okay, trying to be cute out here in these streets. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hi to Hey. Jealousy is something that's natural, but it's just controlled more by others who have grown from that. Okay, that's interesting. And
Jealousy.
that's the thing. We say it's natural, but have we proven that it's natural? Are we saying it's natural because we have it? Do you see the difference? I think we often say a lot of stuff like what she said is what you said, what I may say, but I feel like we almost give permission to things because if a lot of people experience the same thing, we naturalize it. There's nothing proven that jealousy is natural. We haven't done a search in that scientifically.
Totally.
Do you know
Totally.
what I mean? It's a bit like, I guess, sorrow. Some people don't feel it, which may mean they lack more, I guess, emotional intelligence. So I don't know. But I hear you. I definitely hear you. Chi says it's all about energy. Oracle says, I like this part. I always say this: nature versus nurture. Mother's emotions affect the fetus. Okay, for sure. I mean, we spoke about the baby and the mother. Up to 7 is okay. So formatives that we're okay. Yep, I agree. I agree, and that's what I meant in regards to when you're pregnant and you're carrying that emotion, how it can transfer allegedly to the baby. I really believe that's possible. Yeah. See, that is where the most inner child trauma can occur. So I didn't even read it out loud because I was so stuck on that statement, which is
Mhm.
very powerful. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, so okay. Oops. Okay, let me just send some waves back. Thank you guys. Lee.
Mm.
Okay, Anne-Marie, thank you for your question. She asked, can jealousy cause upset?
Of course.
Girl.
Jealousy is it's here. It's a feeling that we all, experience. But the important thing is to really channel that energy.
Yeah.
The minute you feel it, try to redirect it in a different way. It's all about reframing, you know. So try to tone it down and see where you could redirect that energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Lee, I mean, how have you felt? As jealousy caused upset in you? How far has it gone? How far has your trigger within you been pressed, and how did you manage it in regards
See,
to relationships?
for me, like things that I can like, I think people thinking having an abundant mindset is a better way to deal with let's say jealousy. When you have an
Mm-hmm.
abundant mindset, then you thinking you're not restricting yourself. You're not having barriers, even though we all have barriers, but you have more of a leeway to kind of look at life in an abundant way. So
Mm-hmm.
jealousy comes in when you feel like you're not in control of a particular situation. That and also letting go is definitely a very important aspect about the whole thing. Like we are so inclined in trying to hold on to things that don't even like mean anything to us because we think they do when they actually don't. They're a weight to us. They're not giving us freedom to be ourselves. So wanting to like hoard all of those things that are not important to us end up, really hurting us more than, supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when you feel it first, it's normal, take it in, but just reframe the picture, the particular situation where you're in, just to, direct it in more of an abundant mindset that
Mm-hmm.
whatever's going on in your life right now at the time being could be changed. Because one thing we don't really pay attention to is like most of us, a lot of us don't pay attention to is like when you're feeling vulnerable, which kind of like reflect the whole jealousy part. We feel
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable and we just want to sit there and just kind of like feel it 100%. Vulnerability is a good thing. It's a good place. It's like how do I say it? Being vulnerable is it shows potential. It shows you, you know, where you are in relations to the situation or a matter where you're trying to get to. Don't let it intimidate you. Let it inspire you instead of just really intimidate
Yeah,
you.
that's
If
right.
it,
That's right.
if it intimidates you, that's when you start getting jealous. You telling yourself that you cannot get there, and therefore you're just hoarding those feelings and just keeping them there. But if it inspires you, when you're thinking from like um, an abundant mindset, that
Mm-hmm.
in turns inspires you. Like, I want to be like this. I want to do just like this, or even do better than whatever this person is doing right now. Now you're not jealous. You probably envious, but it's inspiring you to actually do better. So
But that
it's
depends on the category. In relationships, it'll be a different emotion. In regards to looking at what has achieved, that will be a different emotion. So if you're feeling jealousy in terms of perhaps your partner or your whatever you want to call them, spouse, lover, whatever, someone you're dating, is liking, for an example, more, the thing of, your partner liking other people's social media pictures too much, apparently, that's caused so much issues. But before I get into that, and is there any part of emotions before I go on that you would like to explore and maybe ask me?
mm.
Anything that you want to bring up that comes to mind, or you want to just keep flowing?
Let's flow.
All
So
right.
what would you say about jealousy? What would what is your take on?
For me, it's a very unhealthy emotion for me to possess. But in times, depending on how I'm feeling, and this is what I'm very honest, if I'm topped up and I'm topped all the way up on self-nurturing, and I'm in within a relationship, I'm also getting what I need. And that can mean quality time, that can mean laced with also quantity, that can mean so many things. Um, I'm not going to thrive on that emotion of jealousy or wanting in like being happy that they have that they felt that. Because in the past, when I've been quite pleased that they felt that, because I felt like you were lacking, there was neglect. I'm glad you felt that, motherfucker. Okay, it's like that. Yeah, know that I am not replaceable, and yeah, you could be like that.
Just like that.
So I'm being honest. People are not honest with themselves. I'm being honest. So if I look at why I enjoyed that, their heart leaping for a second in the past, because you were failing to see what was in front of you. Clearly, you got complacent.
So.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But in the here and now, at this stage and age in my maturity, it would have to be a case where I'm not really topped up within myself, because then I wouldn't get satisfaction outside of myself in that way. You see what I mean? So if someone's feeling it, let's say I haven't seeked it, I've done nothing to provoke it, and a man is feeling jealous, I would more want to explore and say, oh, babe, you don't have to feel that way. You know, I'm not going, you know, that kind of thing. But am I hearing feedback?
Sorry, I'm getting another call. Give me a second. My bad.
Am I hearing feedback? Let's try again. Okay, it stopped because your phone was ringing. That's probably what it is. So let's move on then. Okay. I read that there is a difference between emotions and feelings. That ought to be logical, but I was a bit surprised because we tend to wrap it all in one. We don't really tend to assess it as two different things. Did you know that? That there's a difference between feelings and emotions. Shall I go to Google, our third our guest speaker?
Let's hear.
Yeah. Guys in the viewers in the comments box, did you know that there was a difference? There is a difference. Sorry, bad English. Between feelings and emotions. So let's ask Google, because we always say our feelings are our emotion, is our emotions. But let's ask Google. What is the difference between feelings and emotions?
According to iMotions, while emotions are associated with bodily reactions that are activated through neurotransmitters and hormones released by the brain, feelings are the conscious experience of emotional reactions.
Pow. I can't even reiterate that. That's why I said Google, just explain, please, on my behalf. What's your thoughts on that?
Wow, we learned.
We both learned something, yeah?
That is something.
Yeah.
Well, that is something. We're learning. You know, and I'm glad. Yeah, and I'm glad I'm learning it here. Actually, you know, all this thought it's all one.
It's almost like one is reactive, one is, you know, yeah. So even myself, I'm going to continue to actually keep listening to that and break down myself what that really means, because hearing it doesn't mean we understood it, but at least we know that now. At least we can explore that now. And Anne-Marie, I'm glad that you are here with us and we're all learning together on that note. There's a difference. And also, I was told recently, but I've heard it before, that emotions does not have a gender. Let's get into that, please, because you touched on it earlier. You know, men crying every 5 minutes and all sorts, and me handing them a tampon. I mean, you know, you get the drift. So apparently, all right, guys, did you know that emotions does not have a gender? But allegedly, this is the part that I find difficult, and please, you guys, explore this with me. Leon, explore this with me.
Talk to me.
If emotions don't have a gender, all right, let's pin that. We'll look at a boy from young or a man and say he's a bit femmy. Is he gay? Okay, so we ourselves automatically identify the behavior with a gender. Okay, we see a girl who's not too feminine, she's a tomboy. You just say you don't speak about sexuality that young. You say tomboy until maybe later she may become the opposite of a lipstick lesbian. Maybe she's the butch one. Okay, not always the case, but you know, not every girl who plays football in school turned out being gay. But what I'm saying is we tend to identify a tomboy, very feminine boy or man. Is it us that is putting labels on things and categories if emotions don't actually have a gender? Whew, that's a hard one.
I think we're the ones putting categories and all of that. You know, I could witness one of my oldest sister when she was younger. She has such a masculine energy. She would be playing soccer with all the boys. She would be the only female playing soccer, and
that's amazing.
You know what I mean? She was in her element, and you know, but it was such a bad thing, you know, that, you know, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say a bad thing, but you know, the reaction from, you know, people around is just like, you're a girl, you shouldn't be playing with the guys, you go play with the girls and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, let her express who she is, you know, like.
Was she boyish, other than wanting to play soccer, which is great? Was she boyish in other areas?
Pretty much, you know, she was a go-getter, pretty much. She has like masculine energy that just like really, not to say that women are not go-getters.
Do you think I have masculine energy?
You do have some of that, you know.
Can you describe my masculine energy?
You have like a good balance, you know what I mean? Like you have a good balance. So
you see why I asked you that for a reason, because although I look super feminine, of course I have femininity in my traits and characteristics, but based on me being so forthright, it can make even the most masculine man be like, oh, damn, did she just say that? I am quite forthright. There's a time and a place not to be, we know that. But that can be seen as a woman that's quite forthright and not afraid to say what she wants in and out of the bedroom or the work environment, can be seen as not so dainty and softened as a typical flower feminine. Do you see what I mean? So I wondered then, did your sister go on to softening as a female, or she still got that kind of slightly edge to her?
See, she went on to soften up a little bit, you know, more feminine and all that stuff. But she still got, you know, she carried still some of that energy in her, which translates.
I like it. I love it in me. It doesn't work for everyone, mind you. Causes problems. But I like it. I shouldn't have to repress it so much. Yeah, I like it.
You don't have to repress it. You definitely have to.
No, I know. I never used to, but there has to be a time and a place. There's got to be. And I feel like it's great to be yourself, but sometimes the self that you are, you've also got to assess whether that's appropriate for yourself. Is it healthy for you? Is it achieving what you want and remixing your characteristics? So you see, sometimes you see what I'm saying? Sometimes we're so caught up on not letting go of our own characteristics, but that is our biggest barrier, maybe those characteristics.
Yeah, but are those characteristics just being squashed in a way that, you know, it's kind of filtering who you really are in a way that is not bringing your true personality? I'm not saying you, but
no, but bring it.
No, I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying what you said. I really like what you said, that you gotta, because it's you in relation to the world, that you have to really see how to bring out your energy. Sometimes it works at some places. It's okay to just like put it out there just like that. And some other places it's just kind of like, you know, hold it in, because you know, you might be stepping all over somebody else and all that stuff, but it's not, you know, what I'm trying to say is this, like, you gotta be yourself regardless of what's going on. For me, honestly, be yourself, shine the light that, you know, let the light in you shine. If you're like love masculine energy, you have that masculine energy, just let it flow. It's all about flow. You know, like when people are not feeling you, it's on them. For me, like it's on them to
things. Maybe the way I stated it could give a slight diverse, a slightly incorrect term. Everything you said is totally correct, but I think you're thinking from a different perspective, which is why you're saying what you're saying. Okay. I am a great advocate. I am the advocate of individualism, and I don't need any permission, validation, or I'm totally unapologetic for honestly, for who I am. Trust me on that. But I you know, I would say wisdom. I'd honestly say wisdom has taught me that we seem to say this thing, I'm me, I'm me. And I don't care, and I'm me, and be you. But also assess whether some of those characteristics is what's causing you problems. Okay, and take it away from me. Let's expand for a second, and I'll bring it back. Yeah. So let's say it's you to be loud and obnoxious. You will know and listen, look at the psychology. People know full well they go to work. Right? I'm going to explore this with you. And people are not being honest with themselves. The same people that are loud, obnoxious, or rude, or whatever it is, it's been too much. I guarantee when they go to work, they don't behave like that. Okay, let me explain this to you, right? Unless they are in a job that allows that, and whether entertainment, creativity, whatever it is, your personality, people talk about being themselves, if you was yourself all the time, you may not have a job or have no friends. You must be able to filter yourself and use psychology to know there's a time and a place. And we're not always able to mastermind that. And sometimes it's like, fuck it, now I'm being me. But we have to actually say to ourselves, is that part of self going to be for us or against us? Now, in terms of my energy, feminine mixed with the alpha, which one can see as slightly masculine sometimes, I love it. But I can also see the negative in it. So one has to mastermind those oppositions, I feel, in order for it to work for you, for benefit. And that's when psychology comes in. Yeah? Do you know what I mean? So I feel like, and it's not, and that's what it is. It's not always a case of changing for someone. I feel like if we changed for ourselves and it benefited someone, we would see things differently. And that's taken me a while to come up with that. And it doesn't always work because you still got to be you. But what I'm saying is people are resistant to change. I'm not changing for you. No, you shouldn't change for me. But perhaps if you change for you, it would benefit everybody else. You see what I'm saying? It's like me as a 20-year-old. At the time, I was seeing someone and said, you know, I don't want to date a smoker. I don't smoke anymore. It's been over a decade. But I don't want someone who bites their nails. I was so young. And I was like, this is where I'm at right now. And he was like, I bet you could. I said, are you challenging me? I can take the challenge. And I stopped biting my nose overnight. That wasn't so he could see me in a bridal gown. It's because it would benefit me stopping anyway. So I use him as a catapult of inspiration. So resisting would only mean just to show him that I'm not going to do it because you said so. This is something that we got to look at in ourselves, you know, because I see myself, I see other people, and I was told the other day, sometimes we want to mold people into who we want. We get that. But have you thought about the fact that if you remolded yourself, could there be massive benefits? We need to stop resisting sometimes and start submitting sometimes to situations and environments that could actually feed us great growth and transition. What's your thoughts? Sorry, I said a lot, didn't I? I feel like the world's gone quiet. You can drop right now.
I'm watching.
What's your thoughts?
No, I mean,
viewers, what's your thoughts? Talk to me. What's your thoughts? If that made any sense to you, you know, put up some hearts. If it didn't, put a thumbs down. Let's explore it.
Totally.
What's your thoughts?
You're killing it. You're killing it.
But that's where I'm honestly at. I'm in that place so heavily. I'm in that place by myself, mind you. Yeah, but you know,
better be by yourself.
Yeah, I love it. I'm loving this stage of my life. My father, my my dad's children. Thanks for the love, guys, with all the hearts. You know, let's share and expand each other. Each one teach one, right?
Yep, totally.
My father's family and his children on the other side has also said to my mum, I don't know how you did it. We don't know the person that you've helped transform. We don't know. Gone from beast to angel. Now I think if he was aware he was being changed, he would have resisted.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone saying change, you're going to resist. But her having her ultimatums, knowing she had options, yeah, they've been together for billions of years, from young, you know, teenagers, whatever. And he changed dramatically by being with my mother. Dramatically. For so many wonderful reasons. And he sustained it for how many years? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and on. He had a metamorphosis and shredded all that skin. Because obviously he was ready. And became a better man for himself, his children, and his wife.
Sometimes it's what it takes to be ready, you know, for the change. You know what I mean? You
know, so I don't know, Lee, get into something with me. I don't know. What can I ask you? How do you balance your emotions, whatever those emotions are? Because that's something that you pinpointed to me about talking about the balancing of one's emotions, the equilibrium. Can you give us any tips and suggestions of how you go about it?
Yeah, it kind of goes back to what you were saying a minute ago. Like, it's all about turning into self instead of trying to change everything around us. You know, when things are just falling apart and not working the way we want them to, we most of the time we're so focused in trying to change what's happening around that we forget that it all supposed to start from within. You know, like how are you changing? How are you reframing the situation that's happening right now so that you're able to like process it better? You know, using words that are more encouraging than words that are just kind of putting you down. You know what I mean? Like, I can or I can't, you know, replace those words with like questions like, how am I going to be able to do this? Like, how can I? Instead of how I can, just ask yourself, how can I, you know, get to solve this problem or whatever. But, you know, it comes back to just focusing on yourself and really trying to learn to understand you better. Because we just kind of like, it take a lot of us a lot of time, so long before we start understanding how we really operate, because we so quick to really jump in without even thinking why we are triggered, like what are our triggers or what makes us happy and all of that. So once you start learning what are your triggers and what makes you really happy and your true values, like those are little questions that are like probably not important on the surface, but they really do mean a lot. You know, ask yourself those deep questions to really understand, you know, what makes you really get out and want to, you know, go to work and what are you doing it for and all that stuff. It helps you really center yourself in within. So when you're facing a problem, you always come back to yourself and reframing the whole situation. That definitely helps you balance out things that you can fix and things that you might not be able to fix. Just like, you know, if you're a short dude, you know, there's no way you're going to fix that. You know, I'm just giving that as an example, you know. So if you wasting your time and just feeling sorry for being short, you're just going to waste your time for something that's never going to change. Now, you know, you could look into something that's going to help you, let's say, change some other areas that's going to like help in giving you more advantage in tackling other, situations in life instead of just those things that don't make sense. You know what I mean? Like things that we can't change. So balance.
100%. Well,
Yeah.
Lee, we're going to come back on a part 2 as Instagram gives us a minimal amount of time. But before we do, as we lose all our comments, it doesn't allow us to keep the comments when we download this post. So allow me to read some comments. And guys, when we finish this live, please add as much comments as you can in regards to your thoughts of the live once the post is downloaded to my page. That way it will remain once I download it. And other people can read on your experiences. Yeah? So let me read some comments. Shout out to LA Lodge. Big up yourself all day long. Thank you for joining me. Let's quickly grab some comments that we might not have seen before. Okay, LA Lodge, I hope that we answered the question in terms of the difference between emotions and feelings. Yeah. Oracle, emotions equal energy in motion. Feelings would be more long-term, I would think. Yeah. Emotions equal energy in motion. Feelings would be more long-term, I think. Yeah.
Energy in motion.
Yeah.
Totally.
Thank you to everyone who's joined us today, and all the comments that you guys have chosen to share. So let's go back up. Sandy, that's interesting. So do you feel that your personal self is hiding who you are? Maybe that's is that in regards to me saying knowing when to kind of pull back, or mastering knowing when to pull back? Let's read that again. Do you feel that your personal self is hiding who you are? Do you know, because we are in one way taught to always be ourselves, and media teaches us to be everything but yourself, okay, I feel the center ground for me is psychology. If you are able to wear different hats and characteristics, but knowing your own personality, you can achieve a hell of a lot. Be that business, be that parenting, be that as a friend. Because that way, let's say I'm super frustrated at work, and I haven't mastered how to not bleed onto you, Leon, when I'm in your company. Okay, you see where I'm going with this, yeah? My personality, I'm being myself. So I'm going to take it out on you, I'm being myself. There's got to be no, do you see where I'm going? That's being myself though, right? So how do I then mastermind or go into the character that can recoil and pull back when possible? Because it's necessary. So being yourself is not always the best thing in every scenario. You got to know when to put on your chameleon to survive in this world. No one goes to work saying, this happened to me, or my boyfriend beat me up, or my girlfriend cheated on me. You go in and you put your hat on, you get to work. Let's be honest, that's actually a facade.
No, that's the thing. So we're
going to carry straight on with that straight after we come back. So let me read quickly 4 comments real quick before we get disconnected. Oracle, I've done some shadow work and inner child, and that has changed things. I would have proudly called my character. I am much easier to know now. Thank you so much for sharing that. Not quite myself. Okay, so let's see. Guys, join us back on the part 2. Give me like 2 whole minutes to pin this post, and I'll see you. And don't move, Mr. Bassene. I'll see you shortly. The part 2, right? See you in a moment. Bye, guys. Come right back. All right.